The men do it all the time. When I got drafted, they had Anthony Davis on the Olympic team. Was he one of the 12 best players in the world at that time? No, but they knew he was going to be.
I understand Stephen A. Shannon. I understand the marketing aspect. We understand the eyeball that she would join, but you had a very different approach of why you don't believe that she was selected, and you didn't have I don't think you had a problem with her not being selected. So Ocho and I want to open the floor up to you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Round Association. Now, Caitlin Clark being left off the U.S. Team USA has garnered quite a bit of back and forth, whether that comes from, Shannon Sharpe, Stephen A. Smith, and a lot of people have been going in on Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. with their particular takes. Now, Austin Rivers comes on and offers another take, and Shannon, I guess, was cooked so bad he actually had Ogwumike on his NightCap show podcast with him and Ocho, and open up the floor to her so she could better explain. Take a listen here at what Ogwumike had to say, and then I'm going to play the video from Austin Rivers, which, again, this seems to be divided between male and female lines, to be honest with you, at least between athletes.
So you provided a lot of insight that a lot of people are not able to provide. So Stephen A. and I took the approach that, look, we think Caitlin Clark, the 12 best players, she goes, she stays. We believe the Americans, the women, will win the gold medal. I understand Stephen A. Shannon. I understand the marketing aspect. We understand the eyeball that she would join, but you had a very different approach of why you don't believe that she was selected, and you didn't have I don't think you had a problem with her not being selected. So Ocho and I want to open the floor up to you and let you go into great detail, because when you're on television, you got to get to the top of the hour, you got to get to the break, you got 4 or 5 people, and even though we have 3 people, we're going to open the floor up to you, Chiney. Tell us what's going on in this situation.
Sure. I think the hardest thing is that oftentimes when we're in a debate format, people are more concerned with entertainment than the truth. And the truth is that I have a lot of lived experience into why she probably was not selected. And I said it before, it's largely based off of experience. I don't know if people realize that earlier this year, Team USA almost lost to Belgium. It took a buzzer beater by Breanna Stewart to win. The rest of the world is coming. I don't know if you followed the U.S. women's national team. You saw what happened with the men. I know we didn't send our best squad over there, but over the last summer, you saw the international competition. If you look at the NBA right now, who is dominating the league in some regards? The last few years, foreign players. The game has changed. And I really do give a lot of credit as it pertains to basketball to the foresight of the NBA. The NBA has wanted to make this a global game. I'm Nigerian. The only other professional basketball league outside of the NBA and the WNBA is the Basketball Africa League, who just had competition and championships. They're really putting their work into growing the global game. But at the end of the day, that helps everyone rise. And I think people haven't realized the level of competition is so fierce that you don't want to take a chance of, at this iteration, potentially maybe having a player that has no familiarity with the roster, no experience at that high level. I think the youngest player on the roster is probably Sabrina Ionescu, who's a first-time Olympian, but we've seen what she's done in the league. The previous Olympians, they've all had at least 9 players have had Olympic experience. So if you look at what they constructed, they know that the world is coming. And then I think at the end of the day, we're people that are all fans, right? The reason why we have the jobs we have is because we love sports. We love it at the highest level. We appreciate the moment that the women's game is at. We want that moment to carry over, but it can't come at the expense of what the Olympic mission is, and it's to medal. And I think that's the one thing people are sort of missing in all of this. The goals of Team USA by criteria is to assemble the best team, a team where your players are set up for success. And I think based off of the popularity of Caitlin Clark, people think that that shouldn't matter, but that is the central mission. And I don't know if this is this certain circumstance is setting Caitlin up for success. Her not playing with the team, her not having experience out there as much as the other women. There's a lot of factors that go into these types of decisions that are the reality and not like our dream for what we want the women's game to be. The women's game has always been the most competitive league in the world. And then you whittle that down, and now this is the most competitive team in the world. That's what it's consistently been. That's the reason why they've won 7 Olympic gold medals straight. They don't want to deviate from that just because of what people deem is popular or what people deem is, oh, this is a move for business. The business that they want to handle is winning on the floor. That's always been Team USA's priority. And I think because of the expectation that surrounds Caitlin Clark, people think it should shift. Team USA said, no, it's not going to, because that's not what we've always done.
But it is a mistake. And I'm going to tell you why. Business-wise, we know why it's a mistake. Caitlin Clark brings attention, views, money, and everything, and awareness to the game of women's basketball, right? We've already seen that. That's proven. So historically, when we look at views at USA women's basketball, it hasn't been that high. And again, that number should go up this summer just with all the attention that's been brought to the game. But then when you think about why that is, the main character in that is Caitlin Clark. So having her on the team would just be beneficial, not only to USA women's team who's getting all this attention, but just to the overall game of women's basketball. It'd be something more talked about when there's going to be a lot of sports being played at the time. It could lose traction. We've seen right now women's basketball is on this just adrenaline climb of just upwards and attention. Everyone's tuning in. It's very important for them, I think, to capitalize on that. And I think having a Caitlin Clark on that team would bring so much attention and awareness to the game of women's basketball, where people who even tuning in just for Caitlin are now forced to watch an AJ Wilson or Breanna Stewart and see, oh, wow, so that's what really great looks like. It would only just help bring attention and awareness to the other players who are already been deserving of it. And I think it'd be very important to have Caitlin on that team just from a business standpoint, right? Now we talk about basketball. She's number 1 pick in the draft. Invest in your future. The men do it all the time. When I got drafted, they had Anthony Davis on the Olympic team. Was he one of the 12 best players in the world at that time? No, but they knew he was going to be. So they invested in it. But it would be huge for her and her growth being around, like I said, the AJs, the Breannas, the Grinders, all these girls who have been through so much experience. I think it'd be vital for them to be around a girl like them. Also, just for them to embrace Caitlin. We need that, right? We see all this other stuff about her. We need to see the videos of her lugging around the luggage, being a rookie, like having these moments and experiences that could really help Caitlin and also just help her grow as a player. So I think from both sides, business and basketball, do I think it's the end of the world? She's not on the team? No, but I do think the USA team missed with this, and I think Caitlin could have been on the team and been a valuable asset on both sides. She wouldn't have played a lot, but it would have been huge for her, and she is WNBA's newest, biggest star. And I think it would have been cool for them to invest and embrace Caitlin Clark on that matter, and as well as reap the benefits from the business side.
Now, Austin Rivers, he's had some takes in his day, and quite a few of them I disagree with. But his latter point of how the NBA embraces their young stars or their projected young stars, even when they're not quite ready to be considered the top 12. I feel like the women's USA team kind of overcompensated of, no, we're not just Caitlin's league. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this was a great opportunity. And like they said, you invest in your future, okay? You invest in your future. You actually have the opportunity to put the most marketable girl in your game, being Caitlin Clark, out in front of the world. That may cause the world to be more interested. Maybe you start hosting more WNBA games overseas, growing the game in the same way. I don't know. I understand that, listen, she's nowhere near the best player in the league, obviously. The other women definitely deserve it more. My thing is, you find a way to put her on the team, dog. Even if you got I don't know, how many girls were selected? 12? You make a 13 spot. I mean, you put an extra spot to have Caitlin Clark on the team, okay? You would have been one of the biggest events at the Olympics had you gotten this right. I'm just saying. You can't, sometimes lightning in a bottle, it don't strike twice. depending on how things go, you never know. You can't take. What if she's injured in 4 years? You know what I'm saying? For whatever reason, I just feel like they've missed it, and I don't care who was offended by it. I agree with Austin Rivers. I hear what Ogwumike says, but here's the thing: if it's about the best player and just the love of the game, don't ever complain about money or conditions again, because in order to get that, marketing and eyes on it's no one without the other. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. Be sure to like and subscribe. I'm gonna holler at you next time. Peace.
Skip tweeted something, and although I disagree with the tweet, and hopefully Skip would take it down.
I'm not going to take it down.
Skip, 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 skip.